Like many of you watching this video, I am passionate about creating and playing. Even in my day job, I feel fortunate to be able to design practical things that real people use and enjoy. I can support my family and my cat financially, but I bet she wouldn't agree. However, there are times, just like many of you watching, when I struggle. Every time I reach a level of comfort with something, it's never enough and I crave a change. I've been working with Unity for a while now, and while I'm familiar with its features and workflow, I still find myself wanting to make a change. Is there anyone else out there that feels the same? I've spent almost 4 years working on 2D games, trying to create a perfect 2D player controller, but I still haven't been able to create the perfect one. While my goal of creating the perfect 2D player controller is worth exploring, it's not the focus of this particular video. Instead, I want to discuss my recent decision to experiment with Godot. After conducting thorough research, I ultimately decided to learn the stable 3.5 release of Godot, and even created a video about how I was going to start my journey with Godot 3.5 last week. But then this happened. And then this. As a child, my mother used to say that my timing was always slightly off. But putting aside any unresolved mommy issues that I may have, what should I do now? I don't want to begin with the official 3.5 documentation and risk getting confused. Additionally, I'm aware that it may take some time before the issue is completely resolved. The only way that this can happen is if we read the documentation and follow their suggestion to open a pull request. So what's my next step? Godot offers an incredible feature that allows you to search for assets in the asset library directly in the project manager. While there were several assets created by the talented community in the Godot 4 asset library, my search for a 2D player controller was unsuccessful. However, I did find one when I switched to Godot 3.5. I recently created a game for the Brackeys 2023.1 Game Jam using Unity, and I decided that this would be the perfect game to recreate in Godot since it was still fresh in my mind. Unfortunately, the process did not go smoothly, but I'm not discouraged. After all, I was attempting to recreate a game that I had developed with 4 years of experience using Unity, and here I was using Godot officially for the very first time. My plan was simple. I would just download the 2D controller in Godot and try to reskin it to look like the game I created for Brackeys. I used the 2D controller demo made by Theo the Torch in Godot 3.5, which had really cool player movement. And although it was not like the one I used for my game, I thought it would be a great place to start. I opted not to use the official Godot documentation for this project because I didn't want to spend an entire day on it. My goal was to quickly create something in Godot to get a sense of the engine, and I didn't want to write any code. Although I've been reading the official documentation on GDQuest, I didn't want to risk getting confused since I know that my approach would soon change. I resorted to watching YouTube videos for assistance and quickly realized how fortunate I was with Unity. In comparison to Godot 3.5, Unity's tile map system was vastly superior, and I found myself struggling with even the most basic tasks. However, I took into consideration that this was my first time using Godot 3.5 and that Godot 4 is expected to surpass it in every way possible. Furthermore, I was only experimenting and not expecting an easy process from the outset. So, despite these challenges, I wasn't disappointed. I persevered, and after approximately 2 hours of skimming through the numerous videos and tutorials on Godot 3.5 that I had watched in the days leading up to this moment, I transformed the 2D demo into an extremely limited version of the Game Jam game that I had created. I kept reminding myself that this comparison isn't exactly fair. I'm comparing something I made with no experience in Godot in 2 hours to something I created in 7 days with 4 years of experience in Unity. And the ultimate goal here is to make a genuine transition from Unity to Godot 4. As game developers, the end goal is to create a game that will not only bring joy to players and a sense of accomplishment, but also generate some level of financial reward. However, I've been struggling to decide what kind of game to create and how to approach its development. To move forward, I now truly understand the importance of planning and structuring my ideas while continuing to improve my skills. I desperately need to create a game design document. If you have any ideas, please share them in the comments. I would love to hear your perspective on this. This has been Diragu Games, and let's continue building worlds one pixel at a time.